The mansion was quiet, almost too quiet for the early evening. Jamal Carter, a 12-year-old boy with sharp eyes and an even sharper mind, tiptoed through the grand hallway, clutching a small stack of towels. His father, a janitor at one of the wealthiest estates in the city, had taught him the importance of respect, discretion, and attention to detail. It wasn't easy growing up in a house that felt more like a museum than a home, where chandeliers sparkled brighter than the streetlights outside, and gold-plated fixtures reflected every movement. But Jamal didn't mind. He liked knowing that the world of billionaires wasn't completely closed off to him. His father, Marcus, had warned him many times, always do the right thing, even if no one's watching. Tonight, Marcus had asked Jamal to help clean the master suite after the mansion's guests had left. But little did Jamal know, the owner of the house, billionaire tech mogul Ethan Cross, had set up a test. Ethan, a man known for his ruthless business sense and icy demeanor, had decided to see if Jamal's morals were as strong as his father claimed. He lay on the massive king-size bed, pretending to be asleep, monitoring the young boy from the shadows of his security cameras. Jamal paused at the doorway, noticing the faint rise and fall of what looked like Ethan's chest. Carefully, he began to pick up small items left scattered by the guests. A crystal glass, designer scarf, a misplaced phone charger. He moved slowly, silently, determined not to knock anything over. Then he noticed something strange, a small envelope sitting on the nightstand, a kind of envelope that wasn't meant to be touched by anyone. Jamal hesitated, staring at it for a long moment. The temptation was real. He could peek, open it, and no one would ever know. But Marcus's words echoed in his mind. Do the right thing. With a deep breath, Jamal gently picked up the envelope and carefully slid it back into the drawer exactly where it belonged. Every movement was deliberate, precise, and respectful. He didn't touch the contents. He didn't peek. He just restored order. Ethan's eyes snapped open behind the camera, frozen. He had watched countless adults in his life handle temptation and responsibility poorly. But here was a 12-year-old, humble, sharp, disciplined, passing his test effortlessly. He leaned back on the bed, still pretending to sleep for a few more seconds, just to see what Jamal would do next. He finished his chores quietly, folded the towels perfectly, and whispered a polite "good night, sir," before leaving the room. Ethan's jaw dropped. This wasn't just a child following instructions. This was someone who understood integrity, someone who could carry responsibility without being told.
Someone who one day could run a company or even change the world.
And he had only just begun to notice. The next morning, Ethan Cross, billionaire extraordinaire, couldn't get the image of Jamal out of his mind. A 12-year-old boy had just demonstrated a level of integrity and calm precision that most adults struggled to show. And Ethan knew he had to see more, so he set another test. He called Marcus into the study under the pretense of discussing minor housekeeping improvements. But in reality, he was preparing a subtle challenge for Jamal. He whispered to the security team, "Watch how the boy reacts to temptation." Later that afternoon, Jamal returned to help clean the mansion. Ethan, pretending to be engrossed in paperwork, left a stack of cash carelessly on his desk, large bills, easy to reach, almost calling out to be taken. Jamal paused at the doorway, noticing the bills. For a split second, curiosity flickered across his face, a normal reaction for a boy his age. But then, almost instinctively, he stepped back, shook his head, and walked past the desk. He continued his chores quietly, making no attempt to touch the money. Ethan leaned back in his chair, completely frozen. He hadn't expected this level of restraint. Most people, when faced with temptation, faltered even adults. But here was Jamal, acting with the kind of moral clarity that seemed almost unnatural for someone so young. Later, Ethan staged another scenario, a small electronics device left on the floor, deliberately misplaced. A note beside it read, "Finders keepers." Jamal picked it up immediately, but instead of pocketing it, carried it directly to the office, placing it on Ethan's desk with a polite nod. No hesitation, no greed, just honesty. At that moment, Ethan realized something important. This boy was not only disciplined, but he also had the potential to influence people around him positively. More than that, he reminded Ethan of himself. Before he had been hardened by money, power, and constant suspicion. Ethan decided to confront the boy not with a test this time, but with recognition. "Jamal," he called, standing up from behind the desk. The boy turned, startled but respectful. "You have a remarkable sense of integrity for someone your age," Ethan said. His voice was calm, but charged with sincerity. "Most adults can't do what you just did today. Most would have taken the money. Most would have ignored responsibility, but not you." Jamal's eyes widened. He hadn't expected praise from a man like Ethan, a man whose word was law in this house. Ethan continued, lowering his voice. "I want you to know something. What you just did. It matters more than you think. Actions like yours don't go unnoticed. Not by me. Not by anyone with an eye for character." Jamal blinked, unsure how to respond, but a small smile broke across his face. And in that instant, Ethan knew this boy wasn't just remarkable, he was exceptional. A week later, Ethan Cross called Marcus into the mansion's study again, this time with no tests, no hidden cameras, no illusions. "Marcus," Ethan began, "I've been watching Jamal. I've watched him follow instructions, resist temptation, and act with honesty and responsibility beyond his years. I need to speak with him directly." Marcus looked nervous but proud. "He'll be honored, sir." Jamal entered the study, eyes wide, heart pounding. Ethan gestured for him to sit. "Jamal, I've been testing you not because I don't trust your father, but because I wanted to see what kind of person you truly are. And I've learned something incredible. You have integrity, intelligence, and the kind of character that money cannot buy." Jamal swallowed hard. "Thank you, sir," he whispered. Ethan leaned forward, his tone serious but kind. "I want to give you an opportunity most adults only dream of. Scholarship, not just any scholarship, but one for a specialized mentorship program in leadership, entrepreneurship, and technology. I want to invest in you, Jamal, because your actions show you can handle responsibility, make ethical decisions, and influence others positively." The boy's mouth went dry. He couldn't believe it. All the times he had followed his father's guidance, all the times he had resisted shortcuts and temptation, had led to this moment.
Ow.
Ethan continued, voice steady but intense. "Jamal, you've reminded me why character matters more than money, more than status, more than power. You've frozen me not with fear, but with respect. You've shown me that the next generation can be better, stronger, and wiser than the one before." Tears welled up in Jamal's eyes. He looked at Marcus, who gave a small, encouraging nod. "You earned this, son," Marcus said softly. Ethan stood, extending his hand. "Welcome to a new chapter, Jamal. Let's see what you can achieve when your integrity meets opportunity." Jamal shook the billionaire's hand firmly, heart racing. In that moment, he realized that honesty, discipline, and courage could move mountains and even shake a billionaire's world. From that day on, Jamal walked with a quiet confidence. He wasn't just a janitor's son anymore. He was a young man being prepared to change the world. And Ethan Cross, a man who had tested him at every turn, learned a lesson he would never forget. Sometimes the smallest, most honest actions are the most powerful of all.